Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
The intangibles are here, taking over the news. Become intangible today and order your LIW merch using the link in the description. While fans have been clamoring over the intangibles and how great we are since Sunday, WWE fans haven't been quite so keen over Ricochet, who landed himself in some hot water recently on Twitter. A WWE tweet went out asking fans who the best high flyer right now in WWE was, to which Ricochet confidently responded, "There's literally no one who can do what I do and how I do it, but I'll let y'all discuss." Sunglasses emoji. After a fan responded saying that's because there's different high-flying styles, Ricochet responded saying, "And none are as good as mine." Shrugging emoji. The fan then responded again, saying that Io Shirai is also a phenomenal high flyer, and she's the best at what she does. Ricochet then responded by saying, "I'm not saying she's not amazing, she 100% is, but I can do everything she can, probably even better. She can't do what I am capable of, maybe not even half." This caused some pretty huge backlash from fans against Ricochet, who then deleted the tweet. What do you think? Who is WWE's best high flyer? Let me know in the comments because I'll be replying to people from out of this sweet Lost Intangibles to WrestleTalk merch, which you should totally buy, link is in the description. But despite the Twitter backlash, Ricochet has been getting a little more of a spotlight on Raw, getting involved in a feud with Sheamus and losing consistently. What a feud. However, for those of you paying attention to Raw this week, and bless you for doing so, you'd have noticed that despite also being involved in a story with Sheamus recently, both Humberto Carrillo and Mansoor were absent from this week's episode. According to PW Insider, the reason for this absence is simple. Vince couldn't be bothered. With the case of Humberto Carrillo, WWE reportedly chose to focus on other things this week, that being Ricochet's interactions with Sheamus, which, since Sheamus has now beaten him clean twice, presumably means the two will have several more matches because what is storytelling? Speculation also suggests this would be why Mansoor was also absent, though that is not confirmed. So WWE brought him in to break his win streak and then promptly forget about him again. Nice. But there may be more space to fill on the Raw roster going forward, as there's been an update on the injury Miz sustained at Backlash, and it's not looking good. Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio reported that Miz suffered a torn ACL during the Zombie Abomination Lumberjack match, though the severity of the tear is as of yet unknown. If this is a full tear that requires surgery, Miz could be out of action for 7 to 9 months or longer. This is the first major injury Miz has ever suffered in his wrestling career, which was even a talking point of his famous feud with Daniel Bryan, with Bryan calling him a soft wrestler. A report from Fightful Select noted that while watching the match, wrestlers and staff within WWE could tell something was wrong, but didn't think it was as severe as a torn ACL. And there was a specific finish they were getting to, and Miz was applauded, figuratively, for making sure he got there despite serious injury. What his partner John Morrison gets up to while Miz is away remains to be seen, though if this week's Raw is anything to go by, probably losing to Damian Priest a bunch more. And if we're really lucky, fans will get to see that match happening in person when they return to attending WWE shows this summer, though it might be happening sooner than currently anticipated. Thank you for being awesome pledge hammers on Patreon. He's No Jackass, Dano, and the Blacksmith, Jason Smith. It was reported recently that WWE were planning on having fans return to shows at Money in the Bank, which was moved to July to accommodate this, with Hell in a Cell being shifted to June instead. However, according to Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Live, we may see fans back even earlier than that, with the go-home episode of SmackDown for Money in the Bank the new penciled-in date. Our own Andrew Zarian says Friday, July 16th, SmackDown is indeed the first non-WrestleMania show with fans, so that's when they're coming back. Friday, July 16th. Then of course they will be there for Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and they will be there for Raw. This is also when the reported new stages and sets for Raw and SmackDown will be unveiled, and when everything goes back to normal. WWE may have to adhere to social distancing and other guidelines with their fans and have a limited attendance capacity, but by July things could change. Which means it may soon be time to say goodbye to the ThunderDome. God bless you, ThunderDome. You made WWE somewhat watchable for nearly a year, unless it's Raw. Raw still sucks. Which may be a good thing for fans so they can stop being instructed on how to react to the wrestlers, because WWE will finally know whether fans want to cheer or boo their talent. Because according to Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Radio, WWE sure doesn't have a clue about it. With Angel Garza getting a somewhat renewed push on Raw, defeating Drew Gulak on this week's episode, Alvarez notes, Brian Saxton is the babyface announcer and he is disgusted by this. Corey Graves is the heel announcer and he thinks this was awesome. Also, for the record, the guy in the ThunderDome told everyone to make sure to cheer for Angel Garza, so nobody knows what's going on with Angel Garza. The inverse is true for AJ Styles, who was booked as a babyface on this week's episode against Elias, though the crowd was reportedly told to boo him. If WWE don't even know what's going on with their stories and wrestlers, how are the fans supposed to? But maybe we're all just wrong about how bad Raw is, as the viewership for this week's episode of Raw was slightly up, drawing an average of 1.823 million viewers, up by 60,000 viewers on the previous week. It was the zombies that did it, wasn't it? Recently, Jinder Mahal made his return to WWE TV, flanked by Veer and Shanky, who were made up of one half of the former NXT tag team Indus Sher. It was reported by Fightful Select that the reason for this split was that the other half of Indus Sher, Saurav Gurjar, who was responsible for leaking the huge result of Keith Lee becoming a double champion at the Great American Bash episode of NXT last year, was simply deemed not television ready. In a further update, Fightful Select is reporting that Saurav Gurjar is actually back home in India and has been for quite a while. We've heard no plans for him to return to television imminently. And finally, before I hand it over to my intangible buddy Tempest for his review of NXT, there's been a huge match confirmed for AAA's TripleMania 29. Kenny Omega will be defending his AAA Mega Championship against the recently released from WWE, Andrade. Andrade challenged Omega weeks ago. However, the challenge has now been accepted by the current AEW and Impact World Champion, and the match has been made official. And it should be wonderful. And now let's make this episode fully intangible as Tempest takes us through last night's episode of NXT.
That's right, Tempest the Wrestler here to review this week's NXT in about 5 minutes. So this week's show opened up with the rematch between Toni Storm and Zoe Stark. Now, I haven't been super high on this rivalry as of late because, you know, everyone involved just keeps losing, but I thought this was a really solid opening match. Toni Storm debuted perhaps her new finisher as she hit a move that was like a cross between Randy Orton's backbreaker and a DDT piledriver type move. It was pretty cool, and it was enough to get the win over Zoe Stark. Now, I tell you, if Toni Storm goes out and loses her next match on this show, I will come out here and lose my goddamn mind. Let these women get some wins, please. There were a number of backstage segments, one of which saw The Way go to a spa. Guess who else was at the spa? Dexter Lumis was at the spa. And you know what?
Tempest views regarding Dexter Lumis have been deemed too controversial and have been hereby censored by the All Authority.
And then you'll need the doctor to pull it out again. Oh, the poor stalker man is sad. Back in the ring, we had Jake Atlas taking on Cameron Grimes, and Jake Atlas got the majority of the offense in this match, with Cameron Grimes only cutting him off long enough to get distracted by the $1 million man Ted DiBiase, making his actual official NXT debut. This allowed Atlas to roll Grimes up and get the upset win. After the match, Grimes went out to the parking lot where DiBiase had already gotten back into his car and drove away. So, hang on one sec. Where does Ted DiBiase live? It's not creepy, I promise. He lives in Mississippi. Mississippi to Orlando. That's a 2-hour flight for 2 minutes of screen time. We had a sit-down interview with Pete Dunne and Arash Markazi, and I'll be honest, I thought this was really boring. It's undeniable that Pete Dunne has a certain amount of charisma in the ring, but in a segment like this, it just wasn't there. He gave different answers for why he wanted to face each champion in NXT, while also saying that he doesn't care about being recognized, but he just wants to conquer NXT in America. Back in the ring, we had Killian Dane finally taking on his former Sanity partner, Alexander Wolf of Imperium. This match was really short, more of an angle than anything else, really, as Fabian Eichner and Drake Maverick brawled on the apron. They both got knocked off, only for Marcel Bartel to throw a chair into the ring, a chair that Alexander Wolf was going to use, but instead he was hit by the running crossbody from Killian Dane, ultimately getting the win. After the match, Alexander Wolf was kicked out of Imperium as they beat him up and hit the Imperium bomb to leave him laying. Maybe we'll get a 3-man team of Maverick, Dane, and Wolf? Who knows? Now, the next match saw Legado del Fantasma take on Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa. Now, I want you to comment what you thought about this match specifically down below, because honestly, I thought the psychology of this match was totally backwards. You had Thatcher and Ciampa, who are supposed to be the babyfaces, getting the majority of the offense in this match. Chin locks and headlocks and a lot of other really slow, methodical submission moves, while Legado del Fantasma, anytime they hit offense, was really cool and flashy and exciting, but they're the heels. If I had to wager, I would probably say less than 20% of this match saw Legado del Fantasma on offense. And that's really backwards when you think of the heel babyface dynamic. Ultimately, the Grizzled Young Veterans attacked Tommaso Ciampa at ringside, throwing him back inside to be hit by Legado del Fantasma's finisher, a finisher that they still do not have a name for on commentary. If you know the name of it, leave it in the comments below. It would really help me out. As a result of this match, later in the show, William Regal announced that Legado del Fantasma will be challenging MSK for the NXT Tag Team Championship in 2 weeks' time. The way we're finishing up at the spa is Candice LeRae's credit card got declined for an unpaid expense to a florist. Oh, who could have possibly seen this coming? That's right, it was explained that the flowers that were sent to Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon did not in fact come from Dexter Lumis, they came from Candice LeRae. Who could have seen this coming? Literally everyone except Beth Phoenix, apparently. And yes, Indy Hartwell started yammering on about being in love with Dexter Lumis again, blah blah blah, let's move on. We had a pair of short matches next as Saray was able to defeat Aaliyah, and Top Dollar and Ashante Adonis of Hit Row were able to defeat Tony Nese and Arya Daivari. The latter of these two matches was much more noteworthy as Hit Row, just oozing charisma from all of its members. I didn't think Ashante Adonis was going to be this big a star this fast, but he looks like another guy who just has so much swagger being part of this faction. And of course we got the main event NXT North American Championship steel cage match between Bronson Reed and Johnny Gargano. The story of this match ended up being that Johnny Gargano was getting help from Austin Theory, and Bronson Reed needed to be able to overcome both of those men in order to win. There were a lot of really impressive power spots, a lot of really cool fun spots from Johnny Gargano as well, before eventually Bronson Reed was able to knock Austin Theory off the top of the cage from the outside and knock Johnny Gargano back down into the ring and hit a pair of tsunamis for the win, capturing the NXT North American Championship for the first time. Yay! Really enjoyed this show. Not everything was perfect, but on the whole, I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 stars. A very fun time. Now before I go, make sure to check out the NXT Review podcast later today with myself and Chopper Pete Quinnell of Los Intangibles to WrestleTalk. And on that note, make sure you get your LIW merch at WrestleShop.com. Become an intangible and leave the All Authority behind.
Word. So I'm very happy to announce this Sunday, May 23rd, we are going to be streaming for 10 uninterrupted hours of Board Game Club live on No Rolls Barred. We'll be starting the stream at 11 AM UK time, finishing at 9 PM UK time. Me and Laurie are going to be doing the whole 10 hours because we're mad lads.